the Minnesota Timberwolves just sent a message to the rest of the team that they are a problem in these playoffs because I think almost everyone, was picking the Lakers to win this series. But between the defense on Luca and LeBron and some, poor coaching from JJ Redick, and then on the other hand, Anthony Edwards just absolutely dominating, MVP of this series for sure. Um, this team, is going to be a threat for OKC, or sorry, the Rockets or the Warriors, and then even OKC. Um, you know, the Lakers, they have a lack of offensive initiative down the stretch in this series, right? In the key moments, no star really took over confidently. Um, and the possessions, they sort of look passive. A lot of standing around in the corners, not doing much. You have LeBron, Luca, and Austin Reeves, and they all sort of look hesitant to, you know, run the offense through them, because if they make a mistake or they miss a shot, they're going to get blamed for not passing it up to another guy, and it sort of ends up in nobody doing anything and them falling apart in these fourth quarters. In this last game, right, the defensive issues were a problem the whole series, but in this last game, just having no effort to rebound the ball, they let Rudy Gobert go for 24 rebounds, um, 27 points, all in the paint, because Rudy Gobert does not shoot threes, and that you know is a little bit because of the lack of center that the Lakers had, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's more just, the effort standpoint. They just did not want it as much as the Wolves did, and that, was the reason why it was a 4-1 gentleman sweep. Um, you know, we talked about Rudy Gobert, how physical he was, taking advantage of mismatches, and the Lakers' poor rebounding in this last game. Sort of a redemption after, the struggles he had last year guarding Luca. Remember, he got put on the island in that game one where Luca scored the step back over him. Julius Randle, the same thing, really. A redemption sort of series for him, because he struggled for New York in the playoffs in the last couple of years, and this year, he plays a much slower game. A lot of slow maneuvering into the paint, not a lot of transition. He does shoot threes occasionally, but his best thing is posting up smaller guys in the paint. He was definitely a two-way contributor in this series, right, on both ends of the floor. Excellent post defense and offense late in games. Um, I don't know if he's a better fit than Carl Anthony Towns was. uh, Cat is a much better floor spacer, obviously, and can shoot threes at a much higher pace. But Randall does provide that physicality that was able to wear down Luca and LeBron, which I don't know if Cat would have done, but we don't know for sure. He held up defensively, right? No Laker was able to, including Luca or LeBron, consistently succeed against him, against Randall in isolation. Uh, and Jaden McDaniels in this series was huge, right? His defense on Luca was unbelievable after the way he sort of got dominated last season. You know, he was, I would say, he was impactful in games one, three, and four. Not as well in game two, but in those three games, sort of weak side scoring, providing kickouts from Anthony Edwards, or knocking down the shots from Anthony Edwards kickouts. He made plays without relying on three pointers too much. He did a lot of pump fake and attack into the paint, finishing close at the rim. Given that the Lakers don't have a true center, um, you know Nas Reed, clutch scoring. Big threes down the stretch in games three and four. Um, multiple ways of scoring, getting past guys. Basically, just a huge production off the bench, because when you the Lakers didn't really have someone off the bench that could provide scoring for them consistently, right? Like JJ Redick didn't trust the bench at all. This is actually a good time to talk about the Lakers' problems, right? The Lakers, they just struggled with the center position. JJ Redick did not trust Nas or did not trust Jackson Hayes or anyone on the bench really, and that led to him tiring out Luca and LeBron in games 3 and 4, especially game 3 where they played the whole second half, and that resulted in them falling apart in these 2 games. Um, right, the Lakers need a big center, rim protection center, and someone who can provide offensively as well. Mark Williams, he would have made a little bit of a difference if it went through, but I don't think he would have solved these problems because he's not great defensively either. So that's going to be a big thing to look forward for them in the off season here. But back to the game, the series, right? Nas Reed, Dante DiVincenzo, right? He was sort of quiet in New York the last year, but his ball pressure, sort of attacking, getting his hands on deflections, making it difficult for Luca to get around screens or whatever, was huge in the series. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please like and subscribe, as well as follow me on social media so you don't miss out on any news, scores, highlights, and more as the Boston Celtics try and compete for back-to-back NBA championships. I would say their role players and their bench made the difference in this series because Luca and LeBron basically canceled out the production from Anthony Edwards. Um, but Anthony Edwards, I mean, his course correction, right, from last season, from seasons before, definite MVP of the series. High level playmaking, just decision making, quicker, not forcing shots, mature reads, clutch shot making, basically excellent all series. You know, right, we've talked about the Lakers. Right, JJ Redick, he has to get better. Obviously, it's his first year. Big pictures, depth is important, right? You can't just go out and get the star guys. You have to um, have guys underneath you that can provide just that short burst of energy when the star sits out. And that could make the huge difference, basically decide games, decide series.